honestly, it's the most optimistic I've been in a long time in terms of Tiege Hanley. Now, when I say I'm optimistic now, it doesn't mean that I wasn't optimistic, but when you're like banging your head against the wall doing something that you think is right, but you're not seeing the results that you expect or that you want, it gets frustrating. And I think for Tiege Hanley, it's been an interesting sort of life cycle in terms of our business. It has been very interesting to look back now that we're like 4 years into it. You know, the first like 3 years, actually, no, like 2.5 years, like it was nothing but like up, right? We could do no wrong. And one of the problems is that we were ignorant to our own success. And what I mean by that is sometimes when things are going good, you think like you're untouchable. You can't do anything wrong. And then there was like this point, you know, dollar amount point where it's like once we reached X in revenue, it's like everything sort of slowed down. And then when we reached another like level or X in revenue, it got harder. And so there have been these like 3 big like speed bumps in the evolution of our business, Tiege Hanley. And for the first like 2.5 years, it was nothing but like up. We were saying, yo, here's the subscription, here's the offer, here's the discount, sign up. And we were signing up so many people, we were converting so many sales that it didn't really even matter that we were losing so many people from the churn. And our retention wasn't that great. It didn't even matter because we knew we had the ability to just keep like throwing people, or they talk about the funnel. We knew that we could just keep jamming people into the funnel, and that was one of our strengths. And that was one of the our sort of like the secret sauce. Like we had the ability to get out in front of a lot of people and to just talk about Tiege Hanley. And so, you know, for the first 2.5 years, it was nothing but straight up. And so we didn't realize what we were doing wrong. We didn't realize the error in our ways. It's like, hey, we're up, 200% this year. We're up 200% this year. We're up, like, we kept like making these like giant leaps up. And then it's like somebody was like, no, Tiege, you're not that special. So for the past, like, I'd say like 1.5 years, once we reached like this one level, and I know I'm being cryptic, but I just can't talk about numbers like that. It got challenging. And then it was like, oh shit, wait a second, hold up a second. You mean we actually have to figure this out? And it got hard. And then it got even harder. And this isn't to say that we didn't continue to grow. Our sales have been up. We grew, I think last year we were up, I think it was like 20%, 15, 20%, but that's not what we want. We want to be, much, much higher than that in terms of growth. But what happened and what it forced us to do was really sort of analyze our business and our strategy. And as you guys know, because you've been following this for a while, you know that, I'd say like 9 months ago, we sort of cut the discounting. It was all part of this like greater overarching strategy of getting rid of these like trialists, the people that are just like coming in on discount, then they're canceling their account, and then they're signing up again. Like we were creating a culture of serial couponers. And so it was super scary for me, as I've talked about before. But, Kelly had the vision that, this is what we need to do. And the other person that's been on our team that's really been a big advocate for look at the numbers, do your research, figure out what is actually happening is our advisor, Brian, who actually is, a very, very small part of Tiege Hanley in terms of equity. But he has had, he's one of Kelly's like best friends, if not his best friend. And he has been, so a little bit more about Brian. You saw him in the Christmas vlog. He sort of came up and was talking for a brief moment. He's had a lot of businesses, and he has been uber successful in his different careers. And he's just one of those guys that just gets it. He is smart, and he looks at things differently than I do, than Rob does, than Kelly does oftentimes. And so having him sort of like in our corner and being the most like data-driven decision maker you'll ever meet, it really has forced us and helped us to really look at everything and figure out like where we're going wrong and what we need to do and what is the actual value of a customer and what does that look like? What does it look like in terms of acquisition costs? What does it look like in terms of retention? And by identifying and figuring out all these little nuances and the metrics in terms of how you are gauging things based on data as opposed to gut feeling and ignorance, which is what I think we did for the first like 2 years It's really amazing. And so all of that to say that I have not felt this optimistic in terms of Tiege Hanley, our business, our growth, our future, like I do right now. And one of the main reasons, if not the main reason, is that we've dropped, and I'm not going to say like exactly what the number is, but we dropped our 30-day churn by 8%. 8% in the past like 3 months. And that is like that's not just like a little needle mover, that is a huge needle mover. But because of this idea that, hey, we need to take better care of our customers, we really sort of started to go down this rabbit hole of our customers. And even though, I'm the first person to be like, no, our customers, our guys, like they're with us. We are a customer-centric business. And I thought that and I still think that we were. But we weren't as customer-centric as we needed to be and as we were going to be moving forward.